Hi everyone, welcome to my Essen 2024 video. I'm going to give you a rundown of the top 10 games that I think will be the best games of Essen 2024. I've been to Essen twice now, 22, 2019, and it's a fantastic convention, mainly about buying games and doing demos of games to see what's hot and what's not. You come back with a suitcase full of games, over 30 games, I think, on my last trip of all the latest games, and I'm still yet to play a couple of them from 2022. So they are, um, it is a way to build your collection with the new stuff. A lot of things to try as well when you're out there and see if there's a game that you like. I've got some honourable mentions for us to take a look at as well. So I thought I'd run through my list of things that I would be checking out if I was going to Essen and in and out the trade halls. Then I would be organising demos of games and see if these are ones that I like. So I'll kick us off with some honourable mentions. And as you can see on my screen, we've got the first one called Iron Maid. It's a roll and write, 1 to 99 players. There's a few roll and writes that play a crowd. That's really good to see. 20 to 40 minutes. No age, no weight. I'm in the phase of my gaming where I'm into quite heavy games. I play a lot of economic games with a friend. So I'm in that stage where if something's economic, industrial, manufacturing, definitely I take a shine in that direction right now. And to have a roll and write that covers it, hopefully you'll be getting different combos and setting up turns for the next turn. So we'll have a look at some of these images. I don't know how BGG do their images going backwards here, but it's quite colourful. Obviously, matching dice to give you certain resources by the look of things. Wonder what these icons mean. Doesn't look too complex. There's essentially 4 different areas, and you're crossing off resources, I presume, as you're getting it. I've no idea whether it's good, what the gameplay is like. Print and play at home. So I won't even have to go to Essen if it starts having good things said about it. Should we see what some of the comments say? Print and play, not printed yet. Become the industrial tycoon who dominates the production chains in this strategy roll and write print and play board game. You create production chains, which goal is to create steel. Use your dice to create a terrain of 2 or 4 colours, which gives you resources. When they connect with other terrains the same colours, they build the necessary structures. These structures must be connected to operate. Players deliver ores from mines to steelworks, then prepared steel from steelworks to factories, and finally store finished goods in warehouses. That sounds exactly the kind of dry, plain Euro that I'm into. It's got mechanisms here of chaining, dice rolling, drawing, tile placement. Maybe they've snuck that on. I didn't see any tiles to place in it. But yeah, so Iron Maid, that would be one I'd be going to their stand, trying to get a demo of that game, see if it's something that I'd like. It should be nice and compact when I bring it back to the B&B. So we see what's next, what the next honourable mention is. I've got them on another screen and I'm bringing them over. So the next one I was interested in is a game called Craftsman Roll and Write. If you've been gaming a long time, I think about a decade ago, there was, oh, here we go, re-implements Craftsman. So Craftsman is a game that's a very heavy, thinky strategy game. It's very well regarded, and it's an economic industrial game. And this roll and write is based off this game. This game, Craftsman, is really hard to find. I paid a small fortune for a copy. I haven't yet learned because it's a very long game. You're going to be playing it for 3-4 hours. So a nice distilled version was quite appealing to me. The description is: do you have what it takes to become the most successful entrepreneur in the kingdom? In this roll and write game, you will build your own production chain of buildings. I like that. You will collect the raw materials and process them to half-finished goods and finished products. You'll also transport your goods to the city where you can sell them to various customers from various places such as a shipyard, a tavern, stronghold and monastery. But be careful because you'll have to compete with other players who are also sending goods to the same city as you, and the first players who manage to deliver needed goods will gain the victory points. So again, that's something I really enjoy. It's classed as dice, economic, industrial, medieval, print and play. it's not. It's completely out of the blue. I don't see anybody talking about it. It's just something that I went through the board game geek list. There was 1,000 games being released. It isn't that well known or that popular. I don't know who Dice Pen are. I don't know this designer. I'm gonna have a look and see if they've designed anything else. Thrash and Roll, I own that. That's decent. The suits, cargo train. So they've got a little 91 games. So they are an established designer by the look of things. So yeah, that's another one. I'd definitely be looking to get a game of, whether it's cheap enough, €10 or whatever. I get a box with loads of sheets in it. I've also got a laminator now, so I'll probably laminate it and do dry wipe. Tech trees in a roll and write could be a really fun game. So it's a bit of a gamble, and if it's of a theme that you're interested in, it could well be one that you would like to try as well. And that's Craftsman Roll and Write, coming out at Essen 2024. Okay, so the next honourable mention I was interested in is coming on screen now. This is a game called Moving Company, releasing this year. 2 to 4 players, 15-25 minutes, 5 plus. It's obviously an international development team. And one of the best things about Essen is you get games from all over the world. We're not going to obviously fly to Taiwan or Japan to pick up some games, but all the publishers come to that one location. You get to go around all the different stands. There's a tool where you can plan your route as you're going around to see if you want to go and test out their games. So let's have a look at some of these images. We've got Moving Company. It's got physical components, simple, clear artwork. Should be good, something that can play with the family as well, which I really like. Just trying to get my kids into a bit more gaming as a teenager and older. It's got a hair down as dice rolling. And this is why I was interested in it. The description says, as experienced employees, you must judge the spatial relationship of furniture combinations and make the most reasonable arrangement on the truck. It requires a delicate sense of balance and a little luck. In this game, each game has a total of 4 rounds, and each round consists of 4 phases in the following orders: order phase, loading phase, rating phase, end of round phase. Players take turns to roll the dice, then try to figure out how to load the different shapes of furniture onto the truck efficiently and obtain the service rating points. Game ends after 4 rounds. Player with the highest service points wins. So it's something completely different. I do find that international designs from Japan, Taiwan, they're much more compact, very thinky. You can get a lot of crunch out of a small box. So yeah, that would be one I'd be hoping to test and bring back with me from Essen 2024. What's the next game? Let's have a look. So another honourable mention is the Peach Festival. Buy and sell commodities to mystical creatures inspired by Journey to the West. So the description is, Peach Festival is freely inspired by the popular literary work Journey to the West, one of the greatest classic Chinese novels published in the 16th century. All players use the same dice to roll and make their decisions. The objective is to place ascending numbers within commodity columns in order to score points and create satisfying chain reactions. During each turn, 5 custom commodity dice are rolled, and then players may choose one of the following options: take commodities, obtain commodities according to the dice, manipulate them by eating peaches, or take a peach. By obtaining commodities, players unlock special column or market rewards. When completing a column, players may obtain new request cards showing fantasy characters of the novel. They represent the game, endgame objectives, or hire valuable merchants. So it's got stocks, commodities. It doesn't say economic on it, but it's definitely got that economic feel. Set collection, dice rolling. I don't mind a fantasy theme. They can be, just as fun. Someone's selling one here for 34. We've got 6 comments. Let's see what people are saying. With the expansion for Tangarden, okay, back to pledged. So it looks like it's been available as a Kickstarter add-on, and Thundergriff Games, they're pretty famous. Thundergriff, they've got a lot of good games out there. So that would be a reliable company. I don't know either of the designers, or do I? No, so I've never played a game by Dario Massorenti, but I'd be willing to give it a try. And of course, this kind of thing, when you get it, if you don't like it, they hold their value so well, you can probably get close to what you paid for it and let someone else experience a fantasy stock market and commodity game. Okay, what's the next honourable mention going to be? The next one is called Up and Down. Up and Down is a card game by Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer, two of my most favourite designers. Their list of games they've designed are prolific. For example, you've got Azul, that was one of the ones. Tikal, Vikings have got that. I absolutely love Heaven and Ale. I try and promote it every chance I get at any convention I take it to. So in Up or Down, we've only got it classed as a card game, but if I was going to take a stab at any card game just randomly in the dark, if it was designed by these two gentlemen, then that's the one I'd be going home with from Essen. In Up or Down, you build ascending and descending rows of cards, trying to place as many cards of the same colour in a row as possible. Sounds like Azul. To set up, shuffle the deck, deal each player a hand of 3 cards, reveal 6 cards and place them in a ring from low to high. Then split the deck in half and place these piles in the centre of the ring, one face up, the other face down. Just giving you a good game explanation. And it looks like, from the pictures, it's numerical. You've got to go, yeah, that's it. Ascending, descending. On the Abacus Spiel stand, when I went in 2022, this is a release for this year, but they hold releases from previous years. So when you go, you might walk away with 6 games from Abacus Spiel, but they don't always come to the UK. So it's a really good opportunity to pick up 2 or 3 of their games. In 22, they released another card game, which sold out on the first day. You literally couldn't get it for the remaining 3 days. And that was about investing in chili peppers. I can't remember what it was called, or was it hot dog schnitzels? I can't remember, but it looked fantastic, and that's by the same two gentlemen. So that's definitely going to be a hot purchase. If you're going to Essen, take a look at Up or Down. What's the next one? So we are still on honourable mentions. The next honourable mention for me was, bearing in mind I've sat and looked at the description and all the photos of these and gone through 1,000 other games to pick out the ones that are interesting to me, is Minecart Town, releasing this year. 1 to 4 players, up to 45 minutes, 10 plus. Middleweight rating, Jelly Games. So I've not bought a Jelly Games before. What's it all about? So Minecart Town is open drafting, simultaneous action selection, tile placement. Looks like it may be available digitally already. Create your very own Minecart Town in this tile placing game. Your settlers have arrived in a promising new land, searching for a prosperous safe haven, surrounded by nothing other than raw resources. Can you lead them towards developing a pleasant and profitable town? In Minecart Town, you earn victory points by constructing buildings, producing resources, building railroad tracks, running an efficient minecart transport network. So it's right up my alley in terms of economic simulation, creating city building. It's always very rewarding for me. Watching, and so for other players as well. So if you're trying to get people into gaming, or you want to teach a new game, that they're never too complicated tile laying games. Let's have a look at some of these images. So that's really nice artwork. So everyone's got their own player board that they're trying to build their city from. Looks like it might be end game. Oh, that's a digital construction. Don't know what the bags are for. Be interesting to find out. So this is one that I would certainly be hoping to do a demo of when I was at Essen. Has this designer done anything else? Little Town, excellent. Little Factory, excellent. Skylands has a very good reputation. So I would definitely be trying this one out, or I may just swipe it if it was cheap enough and bring it back with me, because I'm never going to go to the country where this game was made and buy it. It's going to be your only chance to pick it up. It may not even come back. Some games only get 1 print run, especially in Japan. They'll make 250 games because they're handmade, and when they're sold out, they're sold out. You don't get them again. So This looks like one that I'm definitely interested in. I'd love to try it. Let me know if you get to try it at Essen 2024. Okay, so we've got another honourable mention. Looks like we've got 3 left. Hopefully you're enjoying my list. So I haven't heard anyone mention this. There is a brand new Rajas of the Ganges game, Cards and Karma. I really enjoyed the roll and write. It captured the main game beautifully. If I'm going or travelling anywhere, the roll and write game is probably as good, if not better, because the main game tends to be about who lays the best tiles, whereas all the aspects are combined in the roll and write version of Rajas of the Ganges. Actually, not played it for a while, but it's by the original designers Incas and Marcus Brand. They don't really make board games anymore, which is a shame. I do own quite a few board games by them. My Village being a really good standout game. They basically moved on to making exit games, so that's their speciality now. In Rajas of the Ganges, Cards and Karma, you compete for coveted double-sided cards that show buildings, goods, ships, or palace actions on one side and a coloured die value on the other. Always keep an eye on your opponent's actions and plans, because what they would like to build could instead be useful to you as a dice card, although perhaps you want to acquire another building yourself and increase your fame, provided you have the appropriate dice cards in your hand as a resource. A dice card. That's interesting. So it's double randomness in a funny way. So in terms of what we're getting out the box, we've got some tiles. Remain in the cool colours. Not really heard anyone talk about this one. There's a bit more information here. Yeah, it's in German. It's German publishers and German designers. But definitely one I'd be rolling the dice on and taking that one home. Just because they're reliable designers. I know the brand, know the game. It's a really interesting concept. And they're exploring the universe of Rajas of the Ganges. I think that might even be in the top 100 on Board Game Geek Rajas. Okay, 2 left for my honourable mentions. The next honourable mention is a game that, again, I'm not hearing anyone talk about, by a very famous board game designer called Mac Gertz. Mac Gertz has designed Concordia, Imperial 2030, Navigador. I love all of the above, so they're excellent games. In Europe, in the age of ancient regime, in 7 empires, 2 to 7 players compete for political and military dominance. They gain and lose shifting control over 7 old empires, some of them more powerful than others. Great Britain, Kingdom of France, Kingdom of Prussia, Russia, Habsburg, Ottoman, Kingdom of Spain, try to build up the cities so they can provide more and better military units. Covets, infantry, artillery, which all have different military capabilities. I played a war game this weekend for the first time. It was about moving different troops into a location in Saigon. So this is one that I'd definitely be interested in. He's a wonderful designer. I really like the interaction you get on Imperial 2030. That's a heavy economic shares game where you're running countries and deciding how countries should spend their budgets. But the map looks great. That looks like the box PD Verlag. They're never going to win any awards for their artwork. But even the beige, I like the beige colours of the map. It's something that definitely appeals to me. So this is a prototype image. Should we see what the comments are on here? Obviously, always interested in Max games. I only really play Imperial. Navigador is excellent. Had the privilege of testing an advanced prototype with Mac himself. 8 out of 10. Okay, so definitely want to watch out if you like Matt Gert's other designs. I do sometimes think after Crossing Oceans, it may be a try before you buy, because I bought Crossing Oceans, didn't really enjoy it. But this one, if I can get into a game at Essen, give it a demo, even if you just get half an hour of a game these days, it definitely, gives you a feel for what happens on your turn in a game. Mechanisms, he's quite famous for his rondels. There's no rondel in here. Alliances, area movement, variable setup, and turn order. So you just take an action. And that is my penultimate honourable mention. The final honourable mention is Orleans Big Box Edition. So Orleans Big Box, if you haven't played it, you are drawing followers out of a bag, which gives you an action when you've got enough followers. I played it twice in the last 2 months. I still thoroughly enjoy it. 1 to 5 players. It's a truly wonderful game, and it's got 10 years worth of content. So every card, every tile, all the expansions, everything is in this one big box. So if you get the chance to take a look, I presume they won't make it forever because these productions are so expensive. All the big boxes I've got, they always seem to go out of production, like the Queen Games ones. Once they make it once, they don't always seem to come back. Contracts, deck building, game events. I can highly recommend Orleans. If you haven't played it, go and buy it and then play it, and then it'll be part of your collection forever. So that is my final honourable mention because I don't think it'll be here forever. Right then, I am going to grab a quick cup of coffee and we'll dive into the top 10. What are you here for? Okay, coffee refilled. Let's dive into the top 10 games that I would be bringing back from Essen 2024. First game is Chartered. Find the right balance between trading, building and blocking. Welcome to the great merchant city of Amsterdam in the early 1600s. The city is becoming increasingly powerful with ships voyaging to far-off lands. Amid this flurry of trade, you and your fellow merchants strive for economic greatness. You build warehouses throughout the city, you expand chartered companies that you've invested in, all while using your wits to outsmart your competition, growing faster and larger than ever before. You have but one goal in this struggle: to become the wealthiest merchant in Amsterdam. Perfect. That sounds like heaven. Will you go all in on one company, or do you spread your chances? Perfectly time your merger to maximise your profits, collaborate to outsmart other players, use building cards to establish and grow businesses, receive your payout immediately and invest in the right companies. So something I'm very interested in being city building, economic, hand management, route building. I do like route building. I think Brass Birmingham's got me hooked on route building, stock holding, tile placement. Let's have a look at some of these images. So what have we got here? Welcome to the great merchant city of Amsterdam. So it looks like you've got 3D representations on the board. That's something unusual. We don't see that in a lot of Euro games. It's a good way to stand out if you're making a game. Looks like this box is finished, so hopefully it'll be in plentiful supply at Essen. I've seen something like this before on Foundations of Rome or Foundations of Metropolis, where you pull out a city or you nominate a city that you want to buy. It's even in like Chinatown where you're getting a location given to you for a building. I love the artwork. It kind of tells you the whole game in that one artwork. So it's very clever. You're building a city. You look like a wealthy merchant. I just really like it. So yeah, very geeky. Don't know if that's everything we've looked at there. It is, yeah. Have we got any comments? Anyone that's played it? Let's have a look. So someone's given it 4 stars there. Probably a friend of the designer. That's what happens on BGG a lot. So yeah, artist, not familiar. Alexander Neepkins, don't know him. Tricky Badger, Chartered Golden Age, that's quite famous. OSC, so he's making it into a series by the look of it. Yeah, so definitely one that I would be interested in and take a chance on. I would be looking to potentially bring that back. It's definitely for sale at Essen. So if you're going to Essen and you fancy a 3D building game for merchants in Amsterdam, Chartered is the one to check out. So on to number 9. Number 9 is a game called Station to Station. Start with cash and coal and deliver goods to grow your train and build your crew. The steam age is at its height. You are an ambitious new train company determined to turn your upstart venture into a booming success. You don't have much to begin with, just a small amount of cash, coal, a train engine and iron will. That's great writing. Come on. In Station to Station, a pick up and deliver game. There's not enough good pick up and deliver games out there, in my opinion. It features an engine building and set collection. You need to carefully plan your route, hire the right crew, manage your cargo. So it's all about the efficiency, the economics of the game. They haven't put economic in here. Contracts is great, pick up and deliver is great, trains. So it's definitely one that I would be interested in looking at. Should we take a look at some images? So this is what's going to be in the rulebook. So you've got your board. Looks a little bit family weight, party line, essentials line. So it's not quite an advanced game according to the blurb. But Alley Cat Games have been doing well lately. I haven't seen them advertising this one too much. So good luck to them. Hope it's a hit. It's definitely one I would be interested in, and I think they generally have a good presence at Essen. Well done to Alley Cat, British company, very good. So my number 8 is a game called Sparks. I don't know too much about this one. I've heard good things on other channels. It's about a robot factory that needs you. With the assistance of your trusty animal companions, mechanical marvels will soon start rolling off your assembly line. Then you just need to add some spark to bring those robots alive. Explore the junkyard to gather dice for constructing robots or upgrading your factory. Keep a keen eye on your lineup of charming animal aids. They're the cornerstone of your winning strategy. In Sparks, each player runs a robot factory and take turn being the active player. You play one of your production tiles, take a number of dice. All players simultaneously use their dice to complete robots or level up their factory. Always like leveling up tech trees. It says here it's got variable player powers, open drafting. Dice gives a little bit of variety each game. Who is the designer? Oh, famous designers. These are very famous. They've done lots of very cool games. I own most of their games. His page is down by the look of it. Oh no, it's not. I've got Revive, I've got Curse of Temple, got The Magnificent, got Trousers to Kind. That's a fantastic game. I haven't played Bad Company, but again, I've heard really good things. So definitely one to look out for. Accredited design team. I don't know the publisher, Elion by Dr. O. How dare you? If they're selling that at Essen, get Spark, get How Dare You. You will not be disappointed. I'll let you do your own research. But How Dare You is very fun. So that was my number. I don't know now. I need to check. But yeah, so that one's in my top 10. Number 7, I think, from memory. Let's go back. Stations. Yeah. Okay. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my number 7 that I would pick up from Essen 2024. It's a game called Stevens. Players compete to become the most prestigious master glassmaker. I really love it when you get an art form or some granular element of a skill someone's had. Like there's a game about cutting trees down. I can't quite remember. Is it lignum? And the processing of those trees and turn them into plank. So if you can get a really unique theme out of going granular into something. So it's a whole game about glass making. Look at the weight 4. So it's going to be a heavy game. I don't know the designer. Costa Roller. Has he done anything else? Let's have a look. Don Pierre. That's got a good reputation. Moistro. Yintz is famous. So there's a few quality games by this designer. After the big earthquake of 1755 that tore down Lisbon and most of Portugal's southern coast, it was necessary to rebuild an entire nation. The demand for window glass increased so much that William Stevens, a British businessman, saw the opportunity to expand his business in Portugal by investing in the glass industry. Nice setup. In Stevens, players compete amongst one another in the role of master glassmakers working at the famous Stevens factory to become the most prestigious figure in the town. After Stevens, of course, though clever and cunning planning, all players will develop their works, invest in new businesses and promote the creation of jobs through a unique action selection mechanism. It's always good to see how people create their action selection mechanisms. There's so many good ones out there. You can choose from a variety of options by activating the factory or something through personal investments. So you've got economic, industrial, manufacturing, contract, set collection, worker placement. Worker placement's one of my favourites. you put your worker down, get a benefit, and that helps you plan into what other things are going on in the game. Let's take a look at some of this artwork. So Capstone Games rarely put a foot wrong. That'll be a really good one from their side. Wonder where the depth is going to come from. You got a little, is that a score track? Is those your actions? You're working off a player board. It's always exciting. So this one looks a bit more finished as they're playing it. Looks like you're able to build up some sort of benefits across the board. If you get too many cards, you never remember to activate them all. That's always an interesting element. It's good. So it's not a massive table present. So hopefully you get a lot of crunch for not a lot of shelf space, which is always at a premium. So that is Stevens, which looks like a fantastic economic industrial game. If you're into that side of things and you like heavier games, definitely check this one out. Capstone Games tend to do really good releases. So that was number 7, Stevens. Number 6 is a game called Algae Inc. Algae Inc. You manage an algae factory, processing algae into various products. It plays 1 to 4 players in up to 2 hours. That means 3. 14 plus weight, 4.22. So that's going to have a lot of layers, a lot of strategy, a lot of planning. Something you're doing this turn will affect the output in 2 turns' time. Economic, environmental, action clues, tech trees. Really enjoy a tech tree if it's done well in a board game. Algae Inc. is a company that produces and processes different kinds of algae into cosmetics, bioplastics and biodiesel. You manage one of these sectors, so every player has their own industry that they're working in. I think they get an asymmetrical player board. You're trying to create an efficient assembly line, manage your team of operators, engineers and scientists, and help expand the company to several locations all over Europe. As the company becomes more successful, you try to achieve certain milestones before other departments may do so, because as much as you like to see the whole company perform well, you would like to get that extra bit of credit. Okay, so the theme is light, very light by the look of things. Let's have a look at some of these images. What have we got here? That's quite cool box art. So here's your process. You're putting things in here and you've got to decide which way things are traveling down the market. Looks like there's some sort of distribution. That looks like it could be quite tech tree to me. I like the look of it. It does look good. They've got a bit of an up and down history though. Gameborough for their designs. Production looks basic, but as the theme is light, you want strong gameplay, and it scratches that heavy itch, especially for the industrial manufacturing side of things as well. So that's definitely one to check out. My number 6, Algae Inc. My next game, number 5, the 5th best game coming out at Essen 2024, is Asian Tigers, a story of prosperity. In Asian Tigers, a story of prosperity, you are an investor sponsored by each of the Asian Tigers, and your goal is to help these markets flourish and achieve much desired success. You will build power plants, research laboratories, sponsor universities, the doorbell's just gone, and establish factories that will produce resources with the purpose of serving more local and, more importantly, international markets. An easygoing mechanism provides interactive experience which players dispute the relevance of their presence in each of the Tigers, and also personal goals, producing resources such as ships, machinery, automobiles, chemicals, finance, electronics in the way to serve global markets. So it's got worker placement, variable phase order, economic, industrial, all the things that I like. These are 2 very, very famous board game designers, and they've made some classic games like Madeira, Panamax, Nippon. I've just learned Nippon, and I saw on one of the comments on here about someone saying, is it similar to Nippon? And it's not. It's a brand new game, apparently, made by these 2 designers. This will be a new company. They used to work for Watch Your Game, apparently. So that is the 5th best game coming out at Essen 2024. I would definitely be picking this up on the first day, finding the stall on the hall map and heading over there. That's Asian Tigers, a story of prosperity. Okay, so my number 4 game is a game that lots and lots of people have been talking about. Minos, Dawn of the Bronze Age, become the leader of the first European city. What's it all about? As leaders of Minoan clans, players are in charge of the first European civilization, build cities, monuments and other structures, open trade routes, expand and fight off outsiders out of your land, plan your actions with your clan council, research and issue decrees so your actions will be more powerful than your opponents. You have only 4 rounds to prove you are worthy of the Legend of Minos title. We've got civilization, dice, economic, mythology, hand drafting majority, dice rolling income. So it's right up my alley. There doesn't seem to be a lot of images though. I wanted to show you the map. You can push people in and out. So even in a 2-player game, apparently this area majority works really well. Using dice to draft. So sometimes the dice are worth the pip value or the colour value. So you've got an extra layer of decisions on that. Apparently it's quite tight. I think it's 16 turns. And you're trying to find a way to combo actions to get more and more out of a turn. There you go. It's quite a nice setup. And the designer is Stan Cordonzi, who's done a lot of absolutely wonderful games. He has made Paleo Americans, Lockup, Dice Hospital, Rurik. I think he did Resurgence behind me over here as well. So he knows how to make a really good game. And Board and Dice are an ultra reliable company. They made my best game of 2022, which was Terracotta Army. That's quite a heavy game in terms of how to score and what your options are each game. So yeah, that's my number 4 game that I think is the best coming out of Essen 2024. On to number 3. So number 3 is Tea Garden by Kjova Zahadra. Thomas Holak is the designer. Barbara SRP. Okay, so it's unusual art. It looks good though. This designer has hit the game market hard. So this is a 2024 game. This is a 2024 game. This is a 2024 game. So he's got a big debut coming out in 2024. What did I like about this one? It fell under the ancient economic farming. Love a bit of farming as well. Agricola is actually my number 1 game. You've got deck, bag and pool building, end game bonuses, worker placement, resource growth. So that's every round resources are needing to be placed out. In Tea Garden, it's okay, yeah. Thanks for telling us about his other projects. It's a deck building and a worker placement game. The most intriguing element is resource management. In Tea Garden, you will pay with tea leaves. Those can be either green or black. The value of the green leaves decreases each round, but the value of black leaves each increases. You can't gain black leaves directly. You can just gain green leaves. So there's a little bit of strategy, a little bit of planning in that element. Cool artwork. So it's got a small footprint, probably a smaller box, which is always welcome. I'm just hoping it's got the depth in it for an interesting game. Buying and selling tea leaves, it's not something that you see very often. There's definitely a unique theme, and that's sometimes what's draw you in. Nice artwork. Prolific designer by the look of it. 3 games a year is a lot to release. Even Vladimir Suki only releases 1 a year. So we'll see if he keeps up with that speed. What are the comments saying? Has anyone played it? So people are just lining up how to get it. People from all around Europe, America, all descend on Essen to try and get the latest releases. That's definitely one I would be picking up. Tea Garden. And onto my number 2. Number 2 game that I'm interested in for Essen 2024 is a game called Diosi. Use the power of Steam to do business and expand your factory in the big city. What can I say? I am in the phase of my game design for city building, economic, industrial. It just really interests me. It doesn't always have to mean money is the winning, but it does. The fact you're building something up, I think, generally appeals to me in my gaming at the moment. So what's it all about? Let's have a look. On your turn in Diosi, you can either produce or move your magnate to a new district in which you are able to send your workers to work. Command the exploit of the forest or river hexes to fuel your endless need for steam, and perform an action to expand and show your greatness to the city. quite like the look of this one in terms of artwork. Steampunk is a really underused theme in board gaming. If I was going to make a board game, I'd probably use steampunk. So you can see why I'm attracted to it. I do love a very clever rundown. They're just excellent ways to take actions. How far ahead do you go? The one in Heaven and Ale is fantastic. You can only go forwards but can't go backwards. Also like Danny Garcia, he did Barcelona, which is fantastic. So if you get the chance to play Barcelona, it's a very, very good game. I think that came out last year, Barcelona. So he's tried and tested designer for me, and it's a good theme. It's about building up a business again as well. It's definitely one that I'd be coming home with if I was heading to Essen 2024. And the number one game I would pick up from Essen 2024 would be Beyond the Horizon. And the answer's simple. Why would I pick this one up? It's basically by Dennis K. Chan, who made Beyond the Sun, which is absolutely fantastic, and everyone should play it at least once because it's just a very clever game. And that was his first design. This looks like his second design, but he's also working with some absolutely top draw designers. So Cranto Creations, their Kickstarter's a bit up and down, but I do think that they, on the whole, release good games. They've got a lot of fantastic Italian designers. So like Luciani, I haven't put any of his games in the top 10 this year. I don't quite know what he's releasing. But what do we know about Beyond the Horizon? It's a civilization game in which players compete to become the most influential society in history through exploration and expansion, development and production, research and technological advancement. The game is played over a variable number of rounds until enough goals have been achieved to signal the end of the game. Along the way, players will earn points for exploring new lands, settling and building new cities, advancing technology and increasing their cultural and economic development. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins. So it's really exciting playing games where you're revealing new areas, new location, and that's why some fantasy games do so well, because you move to a new area, what's there? You get that element of discovery, and if there's enough tiles, enough variety in a game, it keeps you coming back to try and see what the next story being told out of that game is. And Beyond the Horizon, we've got civilization, territory building. The mechanisms are area majority, which I really like. Map addition, so you can make bigger maps. Ownership, presumably over businesses. Point to point, tech trees. Tech trees is the main reason Beyond the Sun was so successful. It's a pure tech tree game. What technology you want to open up and design. Glad to see it's got a good weighting. I wouldn't want his games too light. Let's have a little look at some of these images. So it looks like the finished article. It'll be there ready to buy at Essen. Don't know what any of it does, and that's the exciting part. Sometimes when you don't know a lot about a game, you have to go by what you can see, and looks like you can claim a space. Maybe that's some sort of resource bonus. Filling these up looks like you get you a coin every round, maybe. Pink colour. Always good to see interesting colours. What does that say on there? Your soldier units can explore and build constructions. So there's a lot of card elements by the look of it. A lot of text reading, and Beyond the Sun, I'd expect the same in this one. But the quality of Beyond the Sun, as soon as I saw this, I knew that this would be one that I'd be definitely coming home with if I was going. And I'm not going to Essen 2024, unfortunately. But Essen 2025, better look out. So that is the top 10 games that are coming out at Essen 2024. If you don't believe me, prove me wrong. We'll see how they do maybe next year, see what kind of ratings they've all got. If they all come out, a lot of the time games that are at Essen in October 2024, next month, they may not get to the UK until June 2025. So there can be a bit of a lag sometimes, and going to America, a lot of the games can take another 6 months to make their way over there. But it's good. It's a good way to get new products. If you love gaming, it is genuinely a board game Christmas at Essen, with the amount of games that are released, over 1,000 in the list that I looked at. And those are the top 18 games overall that I was interested in looking at. And I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have, looking at all these new games. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching this far, if you've made it this far. And hopefully I'll see you at Essen next year. Thanks for watching. Bye.